Hi everybody, welcome to City Suppers. I'm Tim Anderson, and in this episode I'm going to show you a really quick, simple dish. It's a Japanese comfort food classic. It's called nikujaga, which means meat, potato, and it is indeed a delightful meat and potato stew with some Japanese flavors. I'll start with the potatoes. There can be no meat and potatoes without the potatoes, of course. These are ordinary baking potatoes that I've peeled and chopped up into sort of roasty size chunks, not really bite size, sort of 2-bite size. And I'm going to show you a technique. It's a sort of fiddly Japanese technique. You don't have to do it, but it does improve the end result slightly and it makes it look a little nicer. Basically, you see we've got these sharp edges where the potatoes are cut. What you want to do is grab a small knife and just trim those off. And the reason for doing this, not just aesthetics, is to keep them from breaking apart along the edges. You might, when you do cook potatoes for roast potatoes, they break up along the edges. That's it. All nice and trimmed. Didn't take that long. And I feel very relaxed now. On to the other vegetables. The onions are already cut up. Just taking the peels off and cut them into eighths. Now the carrots, I'm going to show you a type of Japanese cutting they call it chaos cut. So what you want to do is cut it on the bias like this, and every cut you turn it a quarter of the way around. So you end up with pieces that are evenly sized but irregular. Right. That's enough carrots. We've got a leek. For this one, we'll just do it on the bias. Nice big chunks. We don't want it to overcook or fall apart while we stew it. If you like the look of this recipe, you can have a go yourself. Just check the description box for the full list of ingredients. So we'll grab a little bit of olive oil. Just a little. All right. So first we'll fry off the onions. Love that sizzle. So while those are frying off, we'll prep the niku, the meat. This is a lovely British rump steak. It's quite lean. It's a cheaper cut. You can use all kinds of different cuts, actually. Nothing too fatty and nothing too expensive. Skirt steak is very good. You could use fillet as well. Anything kind of lean, something that'll cook quickly and nicely. This has actually been in the freezer for about 30 to 60 minutes. And what that does is firm it up, because we want to slice it very, very thinly. And then we'll just slice it across the grain as thinly as possible. You need a very sharp knife for this. Beautiful. Nice and thin, only a couple millimeters thick. That's perfect. When the onions have slightly browned and started to soften, then we're going to add our stock. Now, the stock that we're using today is dashi. Dashi is probably the most important element of Japanese cooking. What it is an infusion of dried seaweed called kombu and smoked dried fish flakes called katsuobushi. If you have these things, go ahead and try to make it. It's actually quite easy, but if you don't have it, you can always use powdered dashi, which is sort of the Japanese equivalent of a stock cube, but it's actually really good, and that's exactly what I'm using today. So, dashi goes in. That's 500 ml. We're going to place carefully in our vegetables, the leeks, the carrots, and the potatoes. Give these a drain first. Just going to top this up with water so everything's covered. While this is coming up to the boil, we'll make a cartouche. Mine's a little big, but no matter. Better too big than too small. All right. So that goes on. And then we wait. Those vegetables will cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. I check them after 10 minutes to make sure they're not overcooking. And then we go on to the next step. The vegetables have been simmering for about 10 minutes. And they're smelling fantastic. Those onions and leeks have infused into the dashi, making a lovely broth. We're going to take out the leeks carefully so they stay together. Put that And now we add the meat. Just get it all in. Now, because the meat is sliced so thinly, it's not going to take any time at all to cook. Now, as the beef cooks, some of the proteins will coagulate in the broth. You just want to skim that off with a fine sieve. Beautiful. So that beef has only been in there for, say, 3 minutes. That's all it needs. And I've killed the heat. Take it off there. Now we will add some mange tout. They go at the very end. We want to keep their crunch and just tenderize them slightly. So, to dish up, we'll give ourselves a nice leek. Pick out some niku, the beef. Get some carrots in there. I think this is a little bit more colorful than your typical stew as well. And then, of course, the potatoes. Don't forget the onions as well. They're there at the bottom. They're all nice and soft now. Now we've also got some egg noodles. Now these are already cooked. So we're just going to put them in there like so. And we're almost done. There's just one last thing to do, and that's season the broth before we dish it out. So, a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of mirin, some rice vinegar, just a splash, some sugar, about a tablespoon, and a little splash of sake. You'll have plenty left over to drink. There you go. Give that a stir. Now the flavor is complete. All right. Just grab some broth. Pour it over the dish. Finally, the mange tout. It's a nice colorful garnish. There you are, nikujaga. Meat and potatoes, Japanese style. I'm gonna get in here.